What if the entire cryptocurrency market collapsed overnight? Not a dip, not another bear cycle, but everything. Gone. Every token, every exchange. Stablecoins too. Imagine waking up, checking your phone, and finding out the entire crypto economy had vanished in a single night. That's the scenario we're exploring today. What happens if crypto goes to zero? What collapses first? What breaks next? And how would life, your job, your money, your travel, even your daily choices change in the aftermath? And stick around, because at the end I'll give you a practical protection checklist, including the one sector that could actually benefit from this chaos. Before we get started, this is 7 Hills Equities. We break down markets with clarity and without hype. If you want real analysis on what moves the economy and how to protect yourself, hit like and subscribe now. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for the protection section at the end. Let's set the stage. Cryptocurrencies aren't just speculative assets anymore. They've built a trillion-dollar ecosystem, supported thousands of companies, and created entirely new industries, from mining to fintech to NFTs. They've pushed innovation in payments, decentralized finance, and even global remittances. Millions of people around the world have benefited from crypto's rise. So, to imagine all of it collapsing overnight is to imagine a shock unlike anything we've seen before. So what happens in the first 24 hours? The immediate shock is chaos. Exchange websites crash, wallet balances read zero, stablecoins unpeg completely. Panic sets in, and not just among crypto traders. Headlines blast worldwide, and every financial market starts bracing for impact. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just crypto holders who feel the pain. The first domino is the stock market. Let's talk about equities. Companies directly tied to crypto. Exchanges like Coinbase, miners, payment processors that handle digital assets. They'd collapse instantly. But the shock doesn't stop there. Big tech names that have exposure through venture capital arms, balance sheet holdings, or partnerships suddenly face billions in losses. Think Tesla with its Bitcoin holdings, or payment giants like PayPal and Square that built crypto into their platforms. Their stock prices plunge. And then comes the leverage problem. Hedge funds, family offices, and retail investors who borrowed against crypto portfolios face margin calls. To meet those, they're forced to dump stocks. The selling pressure spreads far beyond crypto-adjacent names into the broader market. Within hours, you could see something that looks like a flash crash, not just in crypto, but across equities. Now let's look at derivatives. Options markets and futures tied to crypto implode, and the volatility bleeds into other risk assets. Remember, markets are interconnected. When one asset class experiences forced liquidations, it often spills into others. So you'd see increased volatility in the S&P 500, in tech indices, even in commodities futures. Okay, immediate chaos in stocks and derivatives is one thing, but the real economy? That's where things get painful. Take commodities. Crypto mining has been a huge consumer of energy, driving up electricity demand in certain regions and even influencing natural gas markets. Overnight, that demand disappears. Energy producers who counted on mining as a revenue stream feel the hit. On the flip side, lower energy demand could cause short-term price dips in certain markets, but not necessarily in a stable, predictable way. Volatility becomes the name of the game. Then there's hardware. Crypto mining and speculation have been massive drivers of demand for GPUs, semiconductors, and high-end computing equipment. A collapse erases that demand instantly. That means chip makers, who are already navigating supply chain cycles, suddenly face a glut. Semiconductor stocks fall, and the ripple spreads to the broader tech sector. PCs, servers, even AI infrastructure get caught up in the shock. And it doesn't stop there. What about travel and luxury goods? Here's something subtle. Crypto wealth has fueled discretionary spending. High-end hotels, luxury retailers, and even real estate markets in cities like Miami and Dubai have benefited from crypto-rich clients. Take that wealth away, and a chunk of that demand disappears overnight. Airlines lose bookings. Resorts see cancellations. Luxury watch and car sales slump. It's not the first thing most people think of, but it's real money for real industries. consumer confidence takes a hit too. Even people with no crypto exposure feel rattled when a trillion-dollar asset class goes to zero. The average household sees the headlines and wonders, if crypto can disappear overnight, what else can? That fear makes people cautious. They pull back on discretionary spending, eating out less, postponing vacations, holding off on big purchases. When consumers tighten belts, the whole economy slows. Now let's zoom out to employment. Entire industries have grown around crypto, miners, exchanges, DeFi platforms, Web3 startups. Tens of thousands of jobs vanish instantly. Developers, marketers, support staff, all unemployed. But it's not just direct jobs. Venture capital has poured billions into startups, many with only loose ties to crypto. With one stroke, that capital dries up. Suddenly, tech hiring freezes spread. Corporate investment stalls. Innovation slows. For younger workers, freelancers, and small business owners, the impact feels like a sudden winter. But here's the surprising twist. Not every sector suffers equally. Some might actually benefit. For example, gold and other safe haven commodities would likely surge as investors look for stability. U.S. Treasuries see renewed demand. Even the U.S. dollar could strengthen in a flight to safety. Traditional finance, ironically, might feel vindicated. Banks that resisted crypto exposure now look stable by comparison. But let's not gloss over the human side. Consider remittances. Millions of people in developing countries rely on cheap, fast crypto transfers to send money home. If that system vanishes, they're forced back into traditional channels. Slower, more expensive, and less accessible. Families lose income. Local economies feel the strain. In emerging markets where crypto adoption is high, the collapse could feel like a gut punch to daily life. So, where does this leave us? Let's break it into 3 time frames. Immediately, in the first 24 to 48 hours, you get panic. Markets fall, liquidity dries up, and confusion reigns. Headlines scream, social media explodes, and everyone scrambles to figure out exposure. In the intermediate term, weeks to months, the economic ripples show up. Tech layoffs, slowing travel, weaker luxury sales, semiconductor overhang, shaken consumer confidence. Investors retreat to safe havens. Regulators crack down hard, insisting this can't happen again. And in the longer term, the world adjusts. New forms of digital money emerge. Maybe central bank digital currencies, maybe something else. Trust in private cryptocurrencies is shattered, but the technology leaves a legacy. Just as the dot-com bubble created chaos but paved the way for today's internet, a crypto collapse could destroy wealth but accelerate a different kind of innovation. Which brings us to the question, how do you protect yourself? Is there a way to hedge against a crypto collapse? The answer is yes. Diversification matters more than ever. Exposure to safe haven assets like gold and treasuries can provide stability. Certain sectors, like cybersecurity, payment infrastructure, and even traditional banking, could benefit as trust shifts away from crypto. And keeping part of your portfolio in defensive equities, healthcare, consumer staples, utilities, helps weather shocks when the speculative parts of the market implode. So, is it possible to insulate yourself completely? No. A crypto collapse would be global, messy, and unpredictable. But smart positioning, a diversified portfolio, exposure to safe havens, and awareness of where the risks really lie, can make all the difference. Crypto's rise has brought innovation, opportunity, and wealth. Its collapse would bring pain, uncertainty, and disruption. But as always, markets adapt. The key question is, will you be ready? This has been 7 Hills Equities. If you found this analysis valuable, hit like, subscribe, and share this video. And tell me in the comments, what sector do you think would survive best if crypto collapsed? I'll see you in the next one.